Hello everyone and welcome to this practical session where we're going to discuss about wallet and identity wallet today. So my name is Erlich and I work for e-Governance Academy. But why I am here and talking about it is because of my background. So I have been working before e-Governance Academy for almost 14 years for Estonian government, and I was responsible for electronic identification and electronic signatures, which in the end of my career at the government was where we start to introduce the concept of digital identity wallets. So this is shortly about me. I will also encourage you to not hesitate to ask the questions. And we have a solution for that, as you already know, the Works Up solution. So take this opportunity. And hereby, I will not be alone on the stage because it's going to be boring. So I will introduce my dear colleague Vilma from the Lithuania. So can you introduce yourself a little bit more and tell about your background?
Yes, with pleasure. So first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm always delighted to visit Baltic states and to speak about the digital things. So I'm professional with the legal and technical backgrounds for 20, maybe more than 20 years, working with the digital industry, serving it in the dialogue and advocating with the government, parliament on different digital policies. And in my spare time, I am a dancer and a musician in the symphony orchestra, of amateur orchestra.
Does it help to your work?
Absolutely, you know, because in the orchestra, when you play, there are like 3 processes in your head, and it's like our ecosystem of EID and the wallet, you know, which many processes you need to follow.
Okay, great. Then in this case, let's not waste our time to talk about our lives. Let's talk about the topic itself, and to introduce the wallet topic, I would like to make a small introduction for the audience in case you are not familiar of the content of and the scope of the wallet. So the first question is, what is a wallet? So everybody will think that, okay, wallet, I know, I have a Google Wallet, I have Apple Wallet, and there are a lot of different apps where I can store my flight tickets, my credit cards, and all these kind of things. That's true. This is exactly replicating our regular physical wallet we carry in our pockets or in our purses. But what is the common characteristics for that? I would say that it's money and payment oriented. So it's have an economical focus. So the money flow, the payment solutions, the tickets, commerce, e-commerce, all these kind of things are in the wallet, as we call wallet today, those apps, and also physical wallets as well. And we can see them on the market. But we are not going to talk about them today, because there is something that is also called identity wallet. So what's the difference between the regular wallet and identity wallet? Well, the focus again. If the previous was oriented on money, then this one is oriented or focused on identity of individual. So instead of having like a focus on credit cards and what you can buy and how you can transfer different monetary transactions and these kind of things, we are focusing on identity documents and also for personal information. So instead of having a dollar sign, we're talking about the data. data that has your personal relation or that describes your rights, your authorization, your roles, also the delegations that we can delegate someone to represent ourselves. So this is identity wallet, in difference from the regular wallet. So European Union had started an initiative for a couple of years ago with creating so-called European digital identity wallets, or also shortened EU DIY. Very complicated to pronounce for someone. But what is the scope there? Well, the scope is actually unlimited. At least it's open for all the future different kind of functions that can be there. But we can say that in a big picture, we can talk about that we have a government services, social security services and benefits. Then we also talk about the health services, financial services, of course, as well, and traveling. Very interesting combo. But it is not limited only to this. So in the future, it can be even expanded to more different areas. So we talk about how the physical identification of the individual is, but also it's not only the physical identification, also online identification. We talk about also that this solution should be able to create electronic signatures, so people can also sign electronically documents. Mobile driving license is something that is very, very hot topic, especially on the other side of Atlantic Ocean in the US market. But also many countries around the world are looking for those new standards. We talk about the health patient summary. We talk about e-prescriptions. Also digital travel documents. So in the future, you should be able not to carry on with your paper-based passport, but you can have it downloaded in your phone and use the phone at security gates in airports, as an example. So education, all your diplomas, all your skills and rights for doing certain operations should be able. Bank accounts, payments, etc., etc., etc. So as I say, this is unlimited for that. So hereby, I will also would like to ask you, Vilma, that can you a little bit explain with your slides as well a little bit more how it works?
Okay, with pleasure. Oh, sorry. What's
something? Yeah. Now we are.
Okay. So, why does the Europe decided that we need European digital identity? In 2022, it was a response, a political response to pandemia, where, like European parliamentarians, we are stuck, everybody at home, we are not able to reach the services, could not vote and everything. So it was decided that Europe really needs a united digital identity system. And that's how it started, and roll up until the final legal act regulation was adopted. So today, we are the third day when this EIDAS-2 regulation is in force. However, there will be a long run until it will be in practice. So what does this regulation says? It says that every country, every member state should present to the market at least one wallet, which will be government supervised, controlled, and and government would be responsible for that. But this wallet can be issued not only for the physical people, but also for the legal entities, and these physical people representing legal entities. So it would be many wallets, not only inside the country, but they would be used cross-border. Like physical people would be accessing government services. For instance, me as Lithuanian could go to the German e-government gates and access its digital services with my Lithuanian issued digital identity and the wallet. So what would be in practice for me as a user, it would be kind of application in my eyes. For the government, complex, sophisticated system of legal, technical, and process operational things. For business, for the industry, a big opportunity. Mark already explained that it will work not only within the country, but cross-border. When you travel, when you present your diploma to another university. And what is the difference, in fact, what we had already before? The biggest difference, it is that it's a user-centric approach. So we are shifting our minds from our systems, governmental IT systems, which the government is managing, like putting the user in the center, and that the user can control its data, its privacy. It can open some data, it can share with some trusted party, relying party, it is checked, green light, and then it's closed. Nobody is allowed to collect this data. That is the main difference with the tech giants, which we don't know. We are giving our data and we don't know what's happening with this data. So that is the very important thing. And the key principles, it must be free for every European. It is voluntary. Nobody is forced to have it. But if you want to benefit from it, of course, you should be able. It would be linked with the national digital identity, with the national notified scheme of the digital identity, which is part of eIDAS 1. And, of course, available over in the Europe for everybody. And the user controls its data. How it would work in practice? So the course now we are coming into the implementation stage. Member states should should authorize the wallet providers who would be developing these wallets and setting all the system with the PID, personal identification data, which is much more than your unique identifier. And users then would be able to download the app. Then they need to do enrollment process with the PID and all other things. And the attestation issues with the authentic sources, they can give this data, they can provide this data to the user's wallet, where the wallet user would be able to check that with the relying parties to present those data when it's needed. So this big sophisticated trust system need to be built, and it's a very complex process. I never observed in my professional career when I was working with the European institutions. So there are like 5 parallel processes. First of all, we as an experts, we're working on eIDAS regulation to finalize it. Then another thing is the architectural reference framework. So we are now in the version 1.4, where all these technical specifications, standards are described, and we are still in the process. Then we have the reference implementation wallet, which we have the provider which is presenting to us for the testing. And then we are 4 big consortiums with 11 use cases to test it, to build the European infrastructure, to test it. Then there are the groups of wallet certifications. Then there will be implementing acts, and everything goes in parallel. So a lot of the unanswered questions yet.
Okay. Really interesting. But I would like to a little bit more elaborate now this discussion and go further. So initially, you also named, we had already eIDAS regulation in place, which was mainly covering electronic identification of individuals and also electronic signatures and trust services. On the side of that, we had also single digital gateway regulations, and we have a lot of interoperability projects and regulations in the Europe in different fields and domains. So if we looking at overall, then why do you think a European digital identity wallet was raised as an option to the roadmap? Why we needed that if we already had a lot of different puzzle bits?
Very good question. I think the main answer is trust. You can build fantastic systems, which from the technical point of view could work very well. But if they would be not used, it would be useless. If the users would not trust it, if they would not be user-friendly, if the users don't like it, this is just a wasted money. So it was understood that all the systems need, the technology is changing so much, and the privacy, we as the users are losing our privacy. I know one country which, for instance, put dozens of millions, invited a lot of providers, created the solution, but what has been happened? Only 5% of users were trusting this government solution. The others went for the commercial digital identity solution. So the matter is to build a trust and to make this users benefiting with the user-friendly and way and privacy by design, and secure, that it would be comfortable and everybody would be happy about it.
Okay. So trust is really in a place. I agree that trust is something actually what we feel, and we feel trust some system only when we know how it works, and we are sure that it works like we understand it. So that's what, as I understand as well, is one of the approaches with digital identity wallet, that it's still under the user's control what kind of information will be shared and to who. So this is probably one of the things, but I was also thinking that when I was working for those work groups in the European Commission, that even though, as you say, we have a lot of nice technical solutions, there is no interoperability at 100%, because many countries either doesn't have all kind of possible data exchange possibilities, or they are very restricted for a national use only. So the wallet, as I see, is as well as one of the possible ways how to not be a dependent on some kind of national infrastructure. It will be more like a user-centric and user-controlled. So here is a little bit as a follow-up question here, that we talk about that European. It's made for the European countries, European Union. What do you think? What are the most biggest challenges in coming years to implement this European wallet at the national level?
Okay, I would think that you point very rightly that when we had eIDAS 1, like everybody is, first of all, thinking about their own system, about their national system. And with EIDAS too, and the digital wallet coming, we are moving from the national ID system to the European ID system. While it involves around this European digital services to be interoperable through the wallet infrastructure, not through the, let's say, making hundreds of digital, making hundreds of IT systems which are nationally building these bridges, but instead of putting user in the center and making the interoperable environment, infrastructure to comply all these legal technical things. So I think for the governments, probably it would be the most challenging would be to shift their mind from the traditional systems to the user-centric approach, because even the e-services need to be modeled a bit differently. Then I think with the new regulation, there are new roles, the new institutions need to be established or assigned with some functions. So who would be doing what? And I think it's very important common language to the government and the industry to speak the same language, not only inside the country, but within the EU, because we are observing a different speed. How does these wallets are coming? So we already have some governments with these wallets in place. We couldn't say that it's European wallets, but some governments still are at the beginning.
Okay. I know we are here at this conference, which is a very international conference. Majority of countries represented here is not European Union countries. They're even not European countries, so majority is from around the world. So therefore, I would like a little bit shift our focus on this discussion from the European to the rest of the world. So we know that a wallet is a technical solution, and it has some legal support, legal framework for that. But since it's initially is developed for a European market, what do you think? Can it be adopted and can be beneficiary also for countries outside of the Europe, like European says the third countries to the European Union? Is it any benefit with that?
Absolutely. Theoretically, yes, it can be. So we have the article number 14, which says about the international aspects, how it could be European services, trust services recognized, the digital identity recognized outside, and from other hand also opposite international providers could be accepted. But it's very difficult process, very complicated to be compliant legally, technically, operationally, in practice. It's a huge elephant. We still, as a Europe, struggling to build our digital sovereign identity within the EU, within our national countries. And absolutely, I believe that some steps forward would be international approach. So Europe is taking the leadership here, no doubt. And I think if third countries would follow these standards, this framework, they would benefit.
Okay.
Because economically, I haven't seen any studies related, but it would be nice to calculate how much of this digital economy growth would impact the whole market, both sides.
Okay, yes, very interesting aspect. I was thinking that if we think like just as a technology that makes it possible to interexchange information gathered from the government or from private sector to any party in your service life cycles, is it the government or private sector, doesn't matter. So technically it should suit any country, even countries where you don't have any e-government today, to make it possible, like on board much faster than start to build from the scratch all baseline services that you need. But this leads me to another question here, because we were talking about the privacy and personal data protection, that this is the biggest focus and biggest approach with a wallet, that we should give this like a privacy and trust to this privacy to the citizen, to the user. So in Europe, we have GDPR as a holy book for the personal data protection and the privacy. But the rest of the world is very, very different. We have different regulations, even though they are overlapping and really, really similar, but still we have some who follows a US market dominated regulations, some have their own regulations. So if I think that this wallet is, from the legal perspective, it is very focusing on GDPR. How flexible is the system? I'm not talking about only technology, but the framework itself, to be adapted to other data protection regulations than European GDPR. What do you think? Is it possible?
So honestly, I think that even GDPR is without the teeth, you know. It's legally binding and a lot of money spent on different procedures, you know, every organization, but it's, you know, it's not technically embedded, you know, it's not properly working. So from other hand, the privacy is a big issue. And I just wanted to maybe make a reference to, could not mention my left country, Ukraine, where I was spending some years working. So this is a fantastic example from the government, digital leadership, how they managed to create with the services, and 20 million, half of the population are using. And practically, they are almost here, you know, joining our EIDAS system, single digital market. But it's about not only the political decision, but it's about also implementing the European key standards, key issues like GDPR requirements, legally, whatever. So I would say that probably Europe would not go to other third countries if the privacy is not in place. Privacy, how does the Europe understand it? I don't think that it would be too much space for the adoption of that, because if I am using as a European data somewhere in the third country, and I'm not sure how does the private party of the government will do with my private data, I would not go for that. And I believe that would not be the political mandate for this.
Mm-hmm. This is where we talk about interoperability. But yes, I agree with you. But this is something that, as a conclusion, I can say that this is the privacy and data protection should be globally harmonized as a solution for that. So I know we have actually a lot of things to discuss about this topic, but I'm looking at my clock here and I see that the time is running up, and at the same time we have many questions here that needs to be answered that we got from the audience. So I start with the order which has most likes. So please, if you want to like some question, you don't have your own question, but you want like, you have this opportunity still to do, because I'm monitoring it and taking most liked questions first. So citizens are trusting a lot of their data to big tech giants like Google, Meta, Microsoft, etc. The tech giants know our citizens much better than our governments ever can. How could we use the information from the tech giants, and is it a cooperation opportunity with the tech companies? I understand, in the context of the identity wallet.
Well, so the companies like Google, Apple, and other big giants, they are part of this big dialogue with the EU, with the European Commission, within the Open Wallet Foundation, and some other alliances. Because it's not only from the government to issue the digital identity wallet, but it's also for the government accept the foreigners' digital identity wallet and to share the data. The same is with the tech giants. The Meta and Google, they need to accept the European digital identity wallet. That's why they are part of this dialogue. But on the data, yes, they know us much better. They commercialize their services on our data, and but this is the principle of the user to trust the system, because me as the user, I don't want my data to be traded. And I want my government to protect me in this environment, my data not to be traded. And within the country, and also with tech giants as well. So they need to reshape their systems. They need to redo their systems in that matter.
Okay, so as I understand, from my perspective, I'm with a technical background person, so I see no problems from the technical perspective to be incorporated and also be able to share the information private sector has about you to government or whoever you like to share through this wallet system. I believe that this is a more a legal question, that are governments allowing the big data from the private sector be incorporated or not, and how it's going to be shared, and how much governments trust those multinational corporations. But let's rush through other questions, because I believe the people who have wrote the questions, they're going to be disappointed if we don't take them up. So next question will be that if trust is the key to encouraging user uptake in the wallet and its services, what strategies are key to building and maintaining this trust between citizen and the state?
What, say the ending?
I will say again, because it was a little bit for me as well fuzzy. I was start to think like how to answer. But if trust is the key encouraging user uptake in the wallet and its services, what strategies are key to build and maintaining this trust between citizens and the state?
Okay, I think it's a good question if I understand it properly. So I would say that in the before this new wallet concept, at least in my country, we had the commercial digital identity solutions dominated in the market, because the users probably were more comfortable and they trusted those more. Now, if the government wants its wallet to be trusted, they need to start very early. That's why with the European Commission, for our LSPs, we are starting public awareness campaign, educational campaign, to explaining the users what is this wallet about, how it would be constructed, how what are the parties to be involved with the roles, that the users would understand the system and to know that it is the trusted track. So it's a matter about usability, user friendliness, and you know, the government the government roles within that system. Because if the government honestly should say that the government is lacking behind the commercial providers. And it's a very maybe few governments which are in the right level, I would say. So a lot of things to do to establish the services which are not yet in place, help desks, everything. So. Big ambition. Regulation says that after it is adopted, 6 months for the implementing acts and 2 years for implementation. Honestly, I don't believe that within 2.5 years we would be ready.
Okay, I will just sum it up from my perspective. I will say the short answer for that will be that transparency is the biggest source to trust. If you know how the system works, if you understand that, or if you trust your government, there is no problem with that. But let's rush to the next question quickly, because our time is ticking. When user downloads the data from the registries into the wallet, another source of truth is created. How are these sources synchronized, and how do they get updates? I would like to take this answer myself, if it's okay.
Please do.
The source of truth remains where the origin data is coming from. Everything is sold with, let's say, literally, or to simplify for non-techie people, they are digitally signed and stamped. It means that you always can see, disregarding from which intermediate wallet you get this information, you can always check the origin source and also validity of this information, that this information you get is still valid, is not changed. It was a short answer. Unfortunately, our time is running up, and I take just one question that was in the latest ask, that why we are using the platform for asking questions and not letting the audience speak. The short answer will be that we have plenty more people online than in the room here, and we need to give also opportunity to majority of the people to answer the question, to ask the questions. So I'm really sad that this time is so short for such interesting information, but we will be here around. You can always reach out to us and ask personally questions if you have.